Now that you've completed the scope of work, it's time to move on to the estimating process. The fifth tab of the opportunity is Estimating and Billing Terms. Notice that the document repository link is available. In the upper section of this tab, you will have the total of your base contract value, the value of any optional extras, and these will be totaled together. Same with all of the labor, base labor, materials and purchasing, subtrades. All of this is totaled together, and if you happen to be doing a roofing project, the total cost per square will be calculated. Again, with the optional extras, all costs associated to delivering those optional extras will automatically populate here, and they will be added together. Choose yes or no if you want to include the optional extras in your estimate. Let's go ahead and create or request an estimate. Click the Action button. This will open up a new form, which is the Request Create Estimate form. Notice that the opportunity information has been populated and a unique ID for the estimate. The document repository has also come into the request estimate. The requested date is automatically populated on the date that you requested. Go ahead and complete who this is going to be completed for, and select the type of estimate. Most of the time it'll be standard. Sometimes you could have a revision or alternate scope. Perhaps information is missing, the pricing needs to be refreshed, it's a change order, or you can add new options. I'm just going to say standard for this one, and indicate who's doing the estimate. In some instances, if it's you doing the estimate for yourself, you don't really need to apply that information. The estimate status is going to default to not started. Once it's been started, put it into in process so that everybody knows the status. Now, based off whatever estimating tool that you use or your spreadsheet, you're going to apply these total values from that tool that you use. In this example, I'm going to have a base contract value of $135,000 and some optional extras of $15,000. I'm going to keep this as no for the moment. Now let's put in some labor and some materials and perhaps third parties. So my total costs for delivering this base project is $60,000. $75,000 in profit with a 55% gross margin. Let's take a look at the optional extras. Perhaps it's $4,000 for labor and another $8,000 for the optional extras. The margin on this is now only 20%. That's probably not enough to cover our costs and make a good profit. So we might need to increase this value to $20,000. That puts us at a 40% margin. If we decided to include these optional extras, simply say yes here, and notice that the now total contract value is the base contract plus the optional extras. The margin is now calculated for a total margin of 53.5%, and all of the base costs include the optional extras as well. Down at the bottom, this will give you your cost per square, cost per square foot, and also totals. This is an activity log where you can put information about what you're doing for the estimate. And save. To complete the estimating process, you need to select either unable to complete the estimate and why, or complete the estimate. Clicking either of these action buttons will stop the timer on the number of days old the estimate is. I'm going to say that we cannot complete this estimate, and the reason being is I'm missing information. Once you save the record, you can then click on Unable to Complete Estimate. The individual that you were preparing this estimate for will receive an email notification indicating that they cannot complete the estimate. Let's go back to the opportunity. After you refresh, you will see we don't have any values that have populated in the upper section, but we can see the estimate right here and the status of unable to complete. We can also see what the costs were. So let's resubmit our request for an estimate, assuming that we now have all of the information required. You can have multiple estimates on an opportunity. So we're going to say that this is a resubmission. And I'm going to go back in and put similar values. So we'll start out with $134,000 contract value and optional extras of $12,000. And let's go ahead and put some labor in here again. So right now we have a 46% margin. And let's add some third-party costs in there as well. Optional extras. We're going to say that we have $3,000 maybe in labor, another $2,000 in materials. So that's a 58% margin. And it totaled our costs. If you say yes to select optional extras, now it has added all the budgets together and your total contract value, and your average margin between the two is 45.21%. So let's go ahead and save this. This time we're going to complete the estimate by clicking this action button. When you complete that estimate, it is going to calculate the number of days old as well as the date that the estimate was completed. Let's go back to the opportunity, and when we refresh it, we will see that now both estimates are in there. However, there are still no values populated in the upper section. This is because you must select at least one estimate for your proposal. So I'm going to say yes. By doing so, it now has populated all of the information, including that we wanted the optional extras, into the upper section, which will go onto the proposal. Also, it grabbed the date that the estimate was completed, and it's going to calculate the expiration date based off the number of days that you indicate the estimate is valid for. This is an editable field. It defaults to 30 days, but you can change this as you see fit. And it will automatically update the expiration date. You can have more than one estimate that you say yes to, and it will add both of those estimates together. The next part of the Request Estimate tab is the billing terms. You need to select what type of billing process. We've just used standard for this example. You can add as many new ones that you like that fits your business. If you have a special billing addendum file, you can upload that here if applicable. The billing percentages default to a 20% deposit, 20% commencement, 50% of progress payments, and a final 10% at the completion of the job for a total billing of 100%. You can change any of these as you see fit. 10%, 30%. upon start, so long as it totals to 100%. The billing dollar values will automatically total. Let's go ahead and save the opportunity.